You're sitting in a quiet room, maybe in a waiting area, maybe at a meeting, or even alone at home with a cup of coffee. No one's told a joke. Nothing funny just happened. But suddenly, you chuckle. It slips out like a reflex, a sound, a laugh. Small at first, but enough to make you stop and wonder, wait, why did I just laugh? We've all been there, sometimes. It happens in moments when you're nervous, like right before a doctor gives you news. Sometimes, it's in the middle of a serious conversation and you feel horribly awkward for laughing. And sometimes, it just happens. No reason, no trigger, just you and your brain, sharing a strange moment of unexpected joy. But what if that laugh wasn't random at all? What if it was your brain whispering something, a signal, a release, a hidden message buried in your wiring? In this video, we'll explore why we laugh even when there's nothing funny, what science says, what psychology suspects, and what your body might be trying to tell you in those confusing, giggle-filled moments. So if you've ever smiled in silence, or laughed out loud and felt a little weird about it, you're not strange. You're just wonderfully, mysteriously human. And you're definitely not alone. Let's find out why. 1. The evolution of laughter. Why humans developed it in the first place, long before we had podcasts, sitcoms, or late-night stand-up. Humans already knew how to laugh. But here's the strange thing. Laughter didn't start as a reaction to jokes. It started as a survival tool. Anthropologists believe laughter evolved as a social signal. Think about early humans, living in small groups, surrounded by wild animals and daily danger. When a group of people laughed together, it meant one very important thing. We're safe. You can let your guard down. In fact, primates like chimpanzees and bonobos also laugh, or at least something close to it. They produce a kind of panting sound while playing or bonding. It's their way of saying, I'm not a threat. Let's keep this friendly. In other words, laughter was never just about humor, it was about connection, about saying, I trust you, even today. You probably laugh more often when you're with other people than when you're alone. And most of that laughter, it's not even about something funny. You laugh at awkward comments, inside jokes, or even just shared eye contact, because your brain is doing what it has done for thousands of years, using laughter as social glue. So the next time you laugh without knowing why, maybe it's not your mind being weird. Maybe it's just being human in the most ancient way possible. 2. Nervous laughter. When your brain is uncomfortable, you're in a serious meeting. Maybe someone just shared bad news. Maybe it's a doctor's office. Or maybe someone opened up about something deeply personal. And right there, at the most inappropriate moment, you feel it bubbling up. A laugh. You try to swallow it, hide it, smother it, but it sneaks out anyway. Why, this is what psychologists call nervous laughter. And trust me, it's way more common than you think. It happens when your brain encounters emotional overload. You're anxious, uncomfortable, maybe even overwhelmed, and your body has no clear script for what to do. So it takes a wild guess. Instead of crying or freezing, it throws out a laugh. Not because you find the situation funny, but because laughter is a kind of emotional pressure valve. It helps release tension, even when it's not the right emotion for the moment. Think of it like your brain hitting the emergency eject button. It's not elegant, it's not planned, it just happens. In fact, nervous laughter might even be your brain trying to regain control of a situation that feels out of your hands. It's weird. It's awkward, but it's human. So the next time you catch yourself giggling during a stressful moment, don't beat yourself up. You're not being rude, you're just trying to cope. And that awkward little laugh, that might be your brain's quiet way of saying, this is hard, but I'm still here. 3. Mirror neurons. Why you laugh when others do. Ever found yourself laughing just because someone else was laughing? Maybe your friend burst out giggling at something only they understood. And suddenly, You couldn't stop smiling too, even if you had no idea what was so funny. That's not just you being polite. It's neuroscience in action. Inside your brain, you've got something called mirror neurons. These are special brain cells that activate not only when you do something, but also when you see someone else do it. So when your friend laughs, your mirror neurons light up like, "Hey, I know that behavior. Maybe I should laugh too." This is why laughter is so contagious. It's not always about understanding the joke, it's about feeling connected. TV producers know this, which is why laugh tracks are a thing, even when the joke isn't that great. Hearing others laugh tricks your brain into joining in. You don't want to be left out of the emotional moment. This goes even deeper. Mirror neurons are part of what helps humans build empathy. They help us feel what others are feeling. So when someone laughs joyfully, a part of your brain wants to mirror that joy even without context. So if you've ever laughed just because someone else did, congratulations. You're emotionally tuned in. You're wired for connection. You're human. And sometimes, that's all the reason you need to smile. 4. Laughter as a release. Built-up emotions. Finding an exit. Picture this. You've had a long, exhausting day. Everything went wrong, deadlines missed. Spilled coffee. Tense conversations. Then, right before bed, someone sends you a silly meme or says something mildly funny, and suddenly, you're laughing way harder than the joke deserves. You're laughing so much, you can barely breathe, maybe even crying a little. What just happened? This is called release laughter, a powerful emotional exhale after a period of stress or pressure. It's not really about the joke, it's about what your brain has been holding in all day. When emotions build up stress, sadness, frustration, your body needs a way to release them. And sometimes, instead of crying or yelling, your brain takes a surprising detour. Laughter. Think of it like a tea kettle. You can only build up so much steam before it whistles. That unexpected laugh. It's your whistle. In those moments, your body isn't laughing at something. It's laughing through something. And honestly, that kind of laughter is healing. It's raw. It's real. It tells you, yes, things have been tough, but you're still here. Still feeling. Still alive. So if you've ever laughed until you cried after a hard day, don't brush it off. That wasn't just a moment of silliness. That was your heart catching its breath. And sometimes, that's exactly what you need. The brain short circuits. When laughter comes from nowhere, have you ever laughed and genuinely had no idea why? Not nervous, not social, not even slightly amused. Just bam laughter. Out of nowhere. No joke, no trigger. Just your brain pressing the giggle button at random. Turns out, this isn't just a quirky personality trait. It can be a glimpse into how complex and sometimes unpredictable our brains really are. In rare cases, sudden, inappropriate bursts of laughter can be linked to a condition called pseudo-bulbar affect (PBA). It's a neurological disorder that causes people to laugh or cry uncontrollably, even when they don't feel particularly emotional. It's most often associated with brain injuries, stroke, or conditions like multiple sclerosis or ALS. But even in people without any medical diagnosis, the brain can still misfire. Sometimes, a random signal fires across the emotional centers of the brain, especially the amygdala and prefrontal cortex, and triggers a laugh like an accidental flip of a switch, like a light flickering for no reason, or a cat walking across a keyboard and pressing LAUGH. It reminds us that laughter isn't always about feelings, humor, or connection. Sometimes, it's just your brain doing something weird, and that's strangely comforting, isn't it? Because while we like to think we're in full control, moments like these show that being human means sometimes surrendering to the mystery of our own minds. So the next time laughter comes from nowhere, maybe don't question it too hard. Just let it happen, and enjoy the beautiful weirdness of being alive. So, the next time you laugh without knowing why, don't rush to explain it. Don't apologize. Don't force it to make sense. Instead, take a moment. Let that laugh wash over you like a breeze. Because maybe it's not about a joke. Maybe it's your brain releasing something heavy, your heart softening, or your body saying, "You're still here. You're still okay." Laughter, especially the unexplained kind, is one of the few things that remind us we're beautifully complex, alive, and connected to something bigger than logic. So here's your invitation. Pay attention to your laughter. Not just when you're watching comedy, but when it sneaks in during silence, or sorrow, or stillness. Let it guide you, ground you, and maybe even heal you. And if today offers you even the tiniest, strangest giggle, don't hold back. Let it out, because sometimes a laugh you don't understand is the one you need the most.